We're going to start by creating a machining style from scratch. In order to do so, you'll need to know how to set tool direction, how to use cut shape or cut hole. Watch the corresponding videos if needed. We're going to start by creating an eased edge style. The first tool we'll use will be a Z-wheel because we're using pre-cut blanks from a saw jet. Styles are made up of one or more cut operations, so we'll start by making some cut operations to save into styles. Follow these steps to create the cut operations. I'm going to make a simple 20-inch long line to cut. I'll set a tool direction on it, and then I'll select the first tool, which will be a Z-wheel. Now I can set all my cut parameters, and only for this Z-wheel will I add some stock to be left. And after setting and verifying all the parameters, I'll apply the cut to the geometry. And that gave us one of our cut operations, which we can see in the cut operation panel. And we also notice that it's roughing because we used a value in stock to be left. The next tool that I'll use in my eased edge style is the T30 position 1, which I'll select from my tool library and make it active in my drawing. And again, I'll go through the cut shape parameters. I'll remove the stock to be left because we usually leave stock to be left values in the Titans tool library. And when the parameters are set correctly, I'll apply them to this line. And I'm going to repeat this process for the next 6 profile cuts that I have to make. I'll verify and/or adjust the settings, and then I'll apply the cut information to the line that I made. And after I've applied all my cuts, I can open the operation panel where I can ensure that I got all of the cuts that I wanted. Now I can convert all of these cuts into a style. I'll start by going to the first cut and right-clicking on it so I can choose Save as a New Style, which opens up a File Explorer window to the default location where styles are normally saved. I'm going to add these styles into my Titan 3700 subfolder that I created. I'll choose a name to define my style. T30, diameter of 80. The leads are for an outer type cut, and I'm not going to run a gauge wheel with this style. I'll save this one cut as a style named T30 D80 out no gauge. And I immediately have a style with that name in my Styles Manager panel, and when I open it, we see there's only the one cut in it. I'll add the rest of the cuts to this style by going back to the Operations panel and right-clicking on it so I can choose Add to an Existing Style. And I'll have to repeat this process for each operation that I want in my style. In Alphacam 2024 and newer, you can click on the top operation, then press and hold the Shift key on your keyboard and select the very bottom operation that you want to save into your style. Then right-click and choose Save as a New Style. This will select them all at once. Now if I go back to my Machining Styles panel and look at this style, I'll see that I have 8 cuts total. There's no need to save a style once it's created, but I'm going to go back and test it by deleting off the toolpaths and then using the style to reapply them to my prepared line. And I'll open the Operations panel to verify that all my tools were applied and in the order that I intended. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to copy that style, and then I'm going to edit it so that I can add in the same type of style with a gauge wheel. So I'll start by deleting these existing cut paths off of my prepared line. Then I can make a cut operation and apply it. I'll start by selecting my gauge wheel and making it the active tool, and then I'll go to Cut Shape to input my settings, as there are a few that will change when gauging. One of them is under the General tab, Compensation. Instead of using Machine Comp, we're going to use Tool Center for the gauge wheel. Another will be found under Levels and Cuts, where the final depth we probably don't want to be at 0. I'm going to set mine to slightly less than the material thickness, as this will be the final thickness of my part after it's gauged. And then under Machining Data, I'll use Stock to be left as a negative value to set the width of the gauging. This value should always be less than the radius of the tool that I'm using. I'll want lead in and out, and probably the same settings as I normally use. And when everything's set correctly, I'll click OK and apply this information to my line. Now with the cut operation available, I'm going to go copy my existing style by selecting it from the Machining Styles panel and right-clicking so I can choose Copy Style. Now I can find a copy of the style that I've chose. And when I open it, I can see it contains the same cut operations as my original. Now I'm going to change the name by right-clicking on it and choosing Rename Style. And I'm going to change the name to T30 D80 Out Width Gauge. And now I can add the gauging operation that I created earlier by going back to my operations and right-clicking on the gauging operation and adding it to the Style Width Gauge. And when I go back to my styles, I see that it added the gauging operation to the end of my other operations. And if I want, I can change the order by highlighting this operation and using the red up and down arrows at the top to put it in the proper order. I'll move mine up to right after the Z wheel one. And after creating, copying, or editing a style, there's no changes that need to be saved. In this next example, we're going to copy, then edit the style to use new tools. So again, we'll go to an existing style and make a copy of it. Then I'm going to change the name to reflect the type of profile tools that I'm using in it. And I'll open the style to see that it has the format that I'm looking for. I just have to change out the tools. I'll right-click on the first cut operation and choose Edit Operation, which opens my Cut Shape window where I can find Change Tool under the General tab. And pressing Change Tool opens up Alphacam's tool library. Here, I'll select my desired tool by double-clicking on it, and then I'll click once anywhere in the drawing to make it active. Then when I click OK, I get Alphacam's notification that the changes have been saved to my style. I'll repeat this process, right-clicking on the next operation, then choosing Edit Operation to open the Cut Shape window, then click on Change Tool so I can find my desired tool, double-click on it to select it, and then click in the drawing to make it active. And I'll repeat this process until I've changed all the tools in this profile set. And when I'm finished, I'll go and review all my cut operations. And after verifying the tools and their order, my style is complete. Thank you for choosing Park Industries.